everyone.
Hello. And today we are going to jump right in, and we are going to actually do some changing of memories today, changing of childhood memories. We've had people, we've had several people, who are new to the process. If you've never actually gone through the process of changing a childhood memory, we're going to be taking you through that process today.
Indeed. Now, if you don't know anything about what we do and you're not sure how to find the memories or why changing negative childhood memories is beneficial or the science behind it, anything like that, check out our other videos and articles, and we'll put the links in the description below so you can check those out. So today we're literally just going to take you through actually changing a negative childhood
just
memory.
going through the process. What you would actually do. You can do this with us a lot. We're going to actually work on you can just take a memory today. We can work on that, or you can replay this video later and actually go through the process to change memories for yourself.
Yes, indeed. So just very briefly, what's happening in your brain when you're doing this, the idea is we're taking a negative reference in your subconscious. So what we're doing is we're changing the way your subconscious is holding this particular negative event. Your conscious mind, you'll still know exactly what happened, of course, consciously. Your subconscious, however, will have a different reference, which means it will be affecting your life. It'll have different evidence of who you are and how the world works, and you'll start to experience some results, better results, as you do this more and more. So we're going to rewire the neocortex. So it rewires the neocortex. Again, if you want more details on that, check the link in the description for the science behind it. We're going to bring down the stress chemicals so that you can change it. So
why is it, how is stress chemicals, why is that important to the process?
Well, let's do this. Take a deep breath, close your eyes, and think about your front door. And whatever color your front door is, make it white in your mind. If it's not already white, imagine that it's white. And now you're doing this.
Well,
it's so good.
It needs a new paint job anyway.
And then now make your door blue. And if you can't just make it blue in your mind, take out a pot of blue paint and paint it blue. Just imagine that your door is blue. And now imagine your front door is red. Now imagine it's yellow. Put some purple flowers on it. So you can change the color of your front door in your mind because you've got no emotional connection to your front door, presumably.
And I was going to say it's similar to what we talked about last week. In changing up your telephone number, you can easily learn a new telephone number because there's presumably no emotional connection to your telephone number.
Right. Yeah. And so what you just did there was you changed the color of your front door in your mind.
Yeah. Now
your subconscious, if you were to play that over and over again, when you thought of your front door, you'd see the new color. So in other words, if you played over and over again a red front door, you kept imagining that your front door is red, you would be establishing and maintaining a new neural network, a new neural network of connections in your brain that would automatically, when you think of your front door, you'd think of it as red. But consciously, if you thought about it, you thought, yeah, no, I know that my front door is actually white. It's just that I changed it. So I've changed that piece of information in the subconscious. So we're doing that with negative childhood memories to give you more positive and empowering references.
So the point is that like the door, we could change up any of that information or any of those memories as long as there's not an emotional charge attached.
So the first part of this technique is to bring down the emotional charge, so that's all that is doing is lowering the level of stress chemicals in your body and replacing those chemicals with endorphins instead. Okay, so that's what this exercise will do. So feel good chemicals, so that it's taking you from feeling bad when you think of the bad memory to feeling not bad when you think of the bad memory. And then you'll be able to change it just like you changed it all, and you'll change it to the opposite, positive and empowering. So I think that's it, is it? So what we'll be doing, so the technique, the way the technique works, Steve will be taking you through the technique. You will think of a bad memory. Now, don't pick trauma.
Right.
Okay. Don't pick anything too strong.
Yeah, it's probably best to be working with somebody, a practitioner. You don't want to go into those really strong traumatic memories.
Yes, don't do trauma on your own. But if you want help with trauma, contact us on our website, and we'll help you with that. But for today, just think about a childhood memory, if you have one. If you can't think of anything from your childhood, just think of something more recent. It doesn't matter. Just something that bothered you, something that you wish would have been different. All right. So, for example, let's say I failed a test in school, and I really wanted the prize or whatever. So I'm going to change that to the opposite, where I got the highest marks and I got the prize, something like that. So pick a memory like that. What we're going to do is you're going to notice what's there, and we're not going to sit and soak in the memory. We're just going to notice what's there. How do I know it was bad? It feels frustrating or embarrassing or anxious or whatever. Notice it briefly, and then you're going to go to a good, happy feeling. And Steve will talk you through that. And then we're going to switch between the two, but spending more time in the good feeling. And what you're literally doing then is, as you think of the bad memory, your brain and organs are producing stress chemicals. Then you're going to quickly switch to the good memory. The tap of the stress chemicals is going to be switched off, and you're going to start producing feel-good chemicals like oxytocin and serotonin. And then you're going to check in with the bad memory just very briefly, and then come back. And switching like that, you'll bring those stress chemicals down, rewire that connection, and then we will change the memory. Then you'll be able to change the memory because you won't have the stress chemicals. I think was that all that I had to say?
That was a mouthful.
Take it away, Steve. So pick a memory, and Steve will talk you through it.
Yeah, you're amazing with words. I don't know how you make them come out of your mouth that fast. So what we want to do is start with the good memory first. So and that good memory is something that's you want to find something that is going to produce that good feeling. So it can be thinking about a person, place, thing, animal. It can be imaginary. It can be something that you love to do, but you want to find something that when you think about it, you close your eyes, you can be in that feeling, and it just feels good. And you know what that feeling is. So give yourself a moment, think about that, see if you can find that feeling right now, and notice where it emanates.
I'm so sorry to interrupt, but can I give a couple of suggestions? I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah, please do.
I'm sorry. Just so, for example, you think of your pet, or holding your baby as a child, or gardening, or skiing, or horse riding, or Hawaii. Something that. So I just thought I'd give some examples.
Thank you. Yeah. So finding when you found that really, that good memory, that thing that you can you can feel that feeling. Just notice where that feeling starts. And for a lot of people, it's someplace in your chest, but just notice where that feeling starts. And you can close your eyes, be in that scene, and feel that feeling, and allow it to grow just a little bit. Allow it to expand. Feel that feeling growing. With each breath that you take, try to imagine that you're able to send that feeling all the way up to the top of your head, down to the bottom of your feet, out to your fingertips, just allowing that feeling to grow. And then when you have that, just put it on pause for a second and then step out. Step out and come back to that memory. Whatever that memory is that you're working on, find the feeling of that memory and just step into it for a couple of seconds. You don't want to sit in it. You just want to notice the feeling of it, allow yourself to feel a feeling for a couple of seconds, and then step back in. Step back into the good feelings. Find the feeling of that good memory again. And as you do that, come back in and find that scene, find that feeling. If you're able to, imagine putting that scene up on a huge IMAX theater screen, a 30-foot tall screen, and wrap it around you. Feel that feeling all the way around you. Imagine that perhaps there's a soundtrack. Just allow that feeling to grow. Feeling that feeling growing bigger inside of yourself. Imagine that you can send that feeling to every cell in your body, just allowing that feeling. And when you feel like you've got that feeling again, just put it on pause and step out. It doesn't have to take long. You can step right back into it, notice the feeling, and then step out. And you come back to that negative memory. And again, just notice it for a couple of seconds. Notice how it's changing as it's coming back. Is there some quality about it that's changing? Is it more? Is it less? Is there something about it visually that's changing? What you're hearing, is it changing? Just notice how it's changing. If it's still negative, take your focus off of it. Come back to the positive. Come back to that positive feeling. Step back into those really good feelings again. Do what you can to allow those feelings to grow, expand. Feel that. And again, as soon as you have that, put it on pause and step out. The process is going to be back and forth and back and forth until you bring those negative feelings down, until you get to that place when you go back to the old negative memory. It's either neutral or it's positive, but what you're trying to do is just to bring the feeling of that old negative memory down until you're down to a neutral feeling with that.
Very good. And once you've reached that stage, it's time to change it to the opposite, positive and empowering. And that really is as simple as think of the best case scenario. What would you have preferred to have happened? Well, first of all, what would you have preferred to have happened? But more importantly, what would support what you want in your life now? So for example, if you, let's say you have low self-esteem, and one of the memories that is supporting that from your childhood is being told you were stupid by a teacher repeatedly. So you change those memories to where the teacher is now telling you you're clever, you're wonderful, and you see 100% on the tests. You stand up in class and talk, and all the other kids are like, oh, wow, you're so clever. You know, I wish I could be like you. So make it the best it can possibly be. In addition to that, if you want to be let's say you want to be a famous or successful photographer right now, what you want to do is go back and change your childhood memories to where your parents were successful photographers and they loved what they did, and create, because you don't have to just change negative memories, you can add new ones, create new ones from scratch. And all it is your imagination. What establishes it is repetition, of course, repetition with feeling. So you want to practice the new memory several times a day, over and over, with the emotions, add new details in, and this should feel good. This shouldn't be a chore. This is a fun thing to do. Do it when you first wake up in the morning, before you get out of bed, last thing at night before you go to sleep, and several times throughout the day.
Because we've been doing this all of our life, whether it's consciously or subconsciously, we've been replaying these old memories. And sometimes, and what we know from neuroscience, what we know from people that are studying memory is that memories aren't accurate anyway. So really memories are kind of this, I think, like the movies, based on a fiction or based on a true story. They're not exactly 100% true, but we keep replaying them, you know, in our imagination, in that imaginary world that we have. We keep replaying these and they keep impacting who we are,
Right.
what we know about ourselves, how we feel about the world. So if we are able to bring the negative emotion down around those and actually change those to positive, now if we're replaying the positive proofs, we're replaying these positive memories, it's going to have a completely different impact on who we think we are and how we feel about ourselves and how we see the world.
And your brain and body will then be producing different chemicals. So instead of anxiety, instead of fear, instead of low self-esteem, whatever's there at the moment that's holding you back, your brain and body will be producing feel-good chemicals that will give you more confidence, and not only that you'll think you're more confident or be acting more confidently, you'll have proof. Your subconscious will have evidence and proof that you're good enough, that you're fabulous, that you're loved, and whatever else will support you now.
And again, a reminder that the subconscious can't determine the difference between imagination and reality, and it's going to accept whatever you give it, just like that front door activity. And a reminder that this isn't a brainwashing activity, because you really know what color your front door is, and you really know what those old references were. It's just that now you've created a new reference, and the more you replay that, the stronger it gets, and it becomes the predominant thing that your subconscious is going to, just like learning a new phone number.
Right.
So we have a new phone number, and we keep rehearsing that new phone number. When someone says, "What's your phone number?" That's it. When someone says, "What's that memory from childhood?" You now have a new memory that's informing everything.
But just to clarify, if you had to fill in some forms or something, you would still know the original, of course.
But what it's doing is empowering you, because what we felt most of our life is that we have no control over this. And this is just an activity. It's a way of giving yourself the power to be able to change the direction and course of your life.
Right. Oh, and one final point is that the subconscious also cannot judge something as unrealistic, and it can't use logic or reason. So you can literally change those memories to anything. You can put celebrities, you can put cartoon characters, you can, make it as incredibly wonderful as you can.
And as you change those to wonderful, it changes up everything else in your life.
Right. All right, so that's it for this one, and we will continue to do more videos on troubleshooting this process, because there's obviously this is a very basic explanation, or step by step, and we will do some other videos on when you have a little bit of trouble trying to do it, or you've got resistance and you can't find a memory, all of that.
And as always, if you have any questions about anything, feel free to put those down in the comment section.
Yes.
We will, of course, include links in the description below if you're watching this again on YouTube, for getting started on your own and additional information. So please check that out.
And of course, if you would like help with it, please go to our website, which will come up on the screen once this has been edited. And we'll be very happy to help you.
And,
all right.
And until next week,
Bye.
have a great one. Bye-bye.